2023 was a great year for movies, and I hope 2024 can be just as good, if not better. Hey everyone, welcome to Cinema, where we focus on film, and today we are going to be going over my top 10 favorite, most anticipated movies of 2024. Some of these, they might not end up being the best movies, but I'm really excited for it based on directors, actors, whatnot, and just the premises alone that seem exciting, whether I've seen a trailer or not for it. And so I'd love to share your talk down in the comments below. Let's talk cinema and share your top 10 most anticipated movies of 2024. But going into my top 10, we have Drive Away Dolls. Now this is one by Ethan Coen, director, and I really do enjoy the directing of some of the films I've seen from those brothers over the past decades, and I just highly enjoy what this trailer had to offer already. Just the fun shenanigans, these couple of girls going about doing these different things, and it could offer quite a deliver of a premise, and it has quippy writing that it seems like it'll be just fun, quick pace, and just go along in quite a fun fashion. And it's only coming in the next month. And coming in at number 9, we have Joker Folie à Deux. I hope I pronounced that correctly, and I do enjoy what this film is looking like. It's very weird as a sequel, turning Joker, this gritty crime drama that's been very controversial and one that's really highly rated over the first film, and following up with a musical sounds very strange, very weird. It's getting the same writer and director to this film, and Joaquin Phoenix is returning. I really love him as an actor, and I'm just really kind of still hoping that it really delivers, and I am having that anticipation based on how it's a musical. Hopefully they had the right idea, and that it's not just vamping off of how well the first movie performed, and so they just throw in a sequel story just to have one. But coming in at number 8, we have Rebel Moon, the Scargiver. Now, I was one to actually really enjoy the first Rebel Moon. It wasn't the greatest well-told narrative, but I did enjoy the pacing it went about, building up these characters, these cast, this team to fight and rebel against the other people, that the villains of the story. And I feel the Scargiver could be a big balance building up. Since we have the team now, we're gonna get a bit more action, a bit more chemistry between these characters now that the team is established. And I don't remember if this was meant to be a trilogy or if this is part 2 and the very end of this, but regardless, we have the team, we have the same dynamic, the same cinematography, hopefully, that was very beautiful, that I personally really enjoyed the storytelling of. And so, even though it is mostly a Star Wars ripoff of sorts, I enjoyed the first part for what it was, and so this one could be a bit better, and hoping. And coming in at number 7, we have Argyle. Now, Matthew Vaughn is the director for this one. The trailer looks fun. It has an author, and so hint, hint, like me, I just really like stories about authors that go into these different meta-narrative natures that are self-aware of what they're going for. The author is involved with writing the story, essentially, and so that's always a fun dynamic. And Matthew Vaughn is such a great action director that has done the Kingsman movies, Kick-Ass, and I just really enjoyed what could come out of this film and how fun the dynamic could be that could bring this into my top films of 2024. And coming in at number 6, we have His Three Daughters. Now, this is an obscure one that you may not have heard of, but it's by Azul Jacobs, that I do enjoy some of his films. I still need to see more, but I've seen The Lovers. I do enjoy this slow-paced style, real, surreal life, down-to-earth type of films that go into deep drama, subtle emotions that really work up the cast, really work up the story and narrative. And it's not for everyone, but the pacing and vibe that these films give off really connect with me in the right vibing way. And so that's just really all it has to take for me to go into his three daughters with a good time as they face something that involved their father. I don't remember the whole premise, but regardless, it's as it was Jacobs, and I could be really vibing out with this film in the theater, hopefully. And coming in number 5, we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now I've seen the first 2 films of the newest trilogy, and so I'll, of course, be getting to the rest of that and rewatching and getting into some of the older Planet of the Apes movies before this release. But either way, the trailer looks good. There's not a whole lot to it, but I did enjoy what I've seen of the first 2 films of this new trilogy, and I feel it will follow up with such a great action battle throughout. I believe this is part of a new trilogy of sorts, so regardless of how much we get of it, the CGI was pretty good within those first movies, and so I'm really excited for what we have to offer for the following movies. And coming in number 4, we have Kung Fu Panda 4. Now this one of my favorite DreamWorks franchises, that alongside How to Train Your Dragon. And so what better way is it to follow up with a possible new trilogy for the Kung Fu Panda franchise that is leading Po into possibly being a dragon leader or somewhere in the higher spiritual realm of the senseis. And so this will be so great, just seeing what we've seen so far, bringing back Tai Lung and bringing back all this more sinister villain that could bring off such a great vibe and just some fun action, quippy jokes, and something that brings action that could bring a consistent vibe. So long as it's good as any of the other Kung Fu Panda movies, then it'll be a good time in the theater. And coming in at number 3, we have Nosferatu. Now, the following of these is mostly just for the directors alone. My top 3 of these most anticipated films: Nosferatu by Robert Eggers has done The Lighthouse and The Northman and The Witch, and I just enjoy all of those films, and this one is something around a vampire realm, and so I'm just really enjoying the horror nature that this director brings. It's going to be great cinematography, I bet, and just great directing. The way, even if it's a slow-paced film, I'm sure there's a great narrative that's going to come out of this film, as long as the writing's just as good, just as attached to what my vibing of film will be. I'm going to end up loving this one. And coming in at number 2, we have Civil War, again, from Alex Garland, that I'm really going to enjoy his work that he has done in the past. And this is his 4th film, and I don't even remember directly if the premise is based on Civil War, like the historic actual one, or if this is somewhat of an original story narrative. But either way, I feel there's something big that could come out of this film from Alex Garland, just bringing some great vibes, great directing, and maybe even adding his weird story tropes that it throws in and will be gruesome, but still at the end of the day, a great narrative. But that leaves at number 1 for a 2nd year in a row, Dune Part 2. Of course, I love the Dune book, and so I love the Dune Part 1 that we got from Denis Villeneuve, that I really love his directing. The cinematography was fantastic, and this one looks to be no different. I'm trying to avoid all of these extra trailers we've been getting. Of course, I generally know the plot, and this one will be more action-packed based on the narrative of the actual book it's based on. And so this one could be a bigger vibe than the first one. Hopefully, I can't tell just what I know of the book if it will be a better narrative that will come off even better than the first part, because I do really enjoy the first part of Dune, and I love that film, even though it's a slower paced one, not as much action. And so that will make it very interesting to see what Denis Villeneuve will bring for Part 2 with a more action-packed battle that is more likely very based down on the script of the book itself, And so just the love for the book that has been translated into part 1 is going to be something that's so grand, and we only have like a month to go before we get to see this one in theaters finally. So that just leaves my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2024, and I'd love to share your thoughts down in the comments below. I love to talk cinema with you and share your favorite and most anticipated movies of the year thus far if they haven't already come out in January. So thank you for watching, and go watch a movie